Today we're looking at John 13, 1 through 17. On Thursday, Jesus is anticipating the anguish he'll experience that night and on to the next day. The crown of thorns is on his head, the whip on his back, the spike in his hands and his feet, and he gathers for one last meal with his disciples. The table's being set and the food for the last meal is being prepared. In Luke chapter 22, we see that of all things, disciples were actually arguing about which one of them was the most important during the Last Supper. But it says in John 13, verse 1, that he, Jesus, showed them the full extent of his love. How does Jesus show his love more completely? How does he show it more fully? He took off his outer garment, he got down his hands and knees with a towel and a bowl of water, and then he began to wash his disciples' feet. Jesus then puts back on his robe and he sits down at the table and says, "You do not yet understand what I have done for you." Jesus then puts back on the robe and he sits down at the table and says, "You do not yet understand what I have done for you." And it probably wasn't until way after the events of the next day that his disciples saw their Lord beaten, mocked, crucified, that they finally understood that Jesus was calling his disciples by their life and even by their death to totally sacrifice for the world around them. So here's today's takeaway. We are called to sacrifice for the whole world, just like Jesus. But how are you sacrificing like Jesus for your family? And secondly, how are you practicing humility in your life? We think about Jesus, who became like a slave to wash his disciples' feet. How are you practicing humility in your life? So invite your friends, invite your family to join us tomorrow for Good Friday. And today we're going to challenge you to join us for tomorrow as we fast together, reflecting on how Jesus gave up so much for us on the cross. And our response to that out of his love is complete repentance. And so if you want to fast from anything, maybe it's food, maybe it's internet, whatever it is, I want you to join us in a fast tomorrow. But God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. for Good Friday.